I've been head of design and development in Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen for 14 years. And on the studio here we have made several projects in there. I'll just run you through the main sort of planning, and then afterwards then just the projects we have made. Tivoli is a very unique feature in urban context. If you have old Copenhagen, the fortification around the Copenhagen here with the harbor in the center here, and then the castellet down here, and then the fortification out here, Renaissance element. Then you throughout the expansion of the city, then these areas was either made to parks or housing or something else. And Tivoli is a part of that. So Tivoli got the site over here, a part of the old fortification, and there the park started up in 1843. The unique feature about this is that it's a park in the center of the city. There are many parks in the center of the city, but if you have here the town hall and the main square of the city here, and then you have Tivoli here, and then you have the central station over here. Then you can see that at such a spot, leaving that to amusement park and program park as Tivoli is very unique. And that's actually, if you look around, then there are housing and offices around surrounding the whole area here. And then this element that is a green spot designated to amusements, restaurants, the classical vaudeville park that you had in France for 200 years ago. That's quite unique. So it's one of the, together with Prater and Vienna, it's one of the oldest kept parks that still is fully functional, and there are 4 million visitors around yearly. If you look at Tivoli, from 1843 when it originated, and then throughout the time, then there's been a lot of changes, of course. And one of the biggest change was actually when under the war, Second World War, when Denmark was occupied by the Germans, then the Danish sabotaged German elements, but there was also Danes that sympathized with the Germans that sabotaged Danish things. And Tivoli was a very Danish thing, so that was actually sabotaged by these German-friendly guys. And to that end, 3 architects, PH, him with the lamps, with all the lamp shells, a very skilled landscape architect called G.N. Brandt, and another architect, Hans Hansen, that was very skilled, was asked to make a master plan and analyze what is Tivoli actually, what is the main feature. And one thing that if we sort of look at it is in a historical perspective, then we have the town hall over here. But originally the fortification was situated here. Then there was Ravelin, this island here, and then you have the other part of the fortification here. So you had the moat here, and then you had the glacis over here, where you sort of shot people or the soldiers with the guns from the fortification. So this should be an open area. So one of the things with Tivoli in the start was that all buildings should be provisorical. They should be easy to burn, no foundations, no nothing. So you could tear everything down in one day, and then it was open if there was an invasion of especially Swedes and Germans, our neighbors. We've always been in a fight with. If we look at Tivoli as it is today, then these elements of the fortification is seen, and that was some of the things that the 3 architects they worked with. We have Tivoli to sort of nearly a square. There's a little leftover space here. Then there's a main entrance down here. And then there's the lake, which is the moat down here, and then you have a part of the Ravelin sticking out here. And then you actually have a main path that goes through like a zigzag, like the old fortification, throughout Tivoli like this. And one of the ideas that they saw was that here the pantomime is situated, the pantomime theater, the glass hall, which is a sort of theater, old restaurant situated along here, the Japanese tower here, and then it is called the Chinese tower, but it's actually a Japanese construction, but that's another issue, so it's just me making a wrong point here. But here you can see that this main pathway divides Tivoli in 3 zones. One zone is the landscape element here, over here with the garden element, tranquility and so forth. Then you have the historical element, the historical Tivoli, which is this area here where you have the old buildings and the old part of the fortification. And then you have this area over here where we have what they call popular Tivoli, or the Tivoli that is flexible, where the concert hall is situated, the main wooden roller coaster over here, and a lot of rides around in the area here. So you have this division in 3 elements of where you sort of can walk from an energetic area over to a historic area to a landscape area. So, and it's only 80,000 square meters, so it's very small. So you have in-housed in this area where there's no cars, of course, and anything, a very sort of big diversity of experiences around in the garden. And one of these projects we have been involved in has been, among others, making a new flow by the main entrance down here, where we made a totally new flow into the garden. And you can guess that in such a small space are over 4 million guests yearly. Then there's a little run per these ticket booths and here this whole area, but it still should be both the hello to Tivoli, and it should also be the goodbye when you go out. So there was quite high expectations to the design there. Then we have restored the pantomime theater and the glass hall, but that's sort of to the old standards. Then we made a golden tower over here, which is a tower ride, and then a roller coaster called the Demon, a Chinese-inspired roller coaster over here. And if you look down from the garden area towards them, that's a very beautiful view to how the rides are incorporated and themed, especially to Tivoli, but still with the respect of the border to the landscape element over here. So we have made a restaurant called Woodhouse that's situated here at the center of this area here, which is sort of incorporating green elements with outdoor, indoor balconies and so forth. And the last project I would talk about here is the roller coaster. It's from 1940. It had 100 years anniversary in 2014 and was the last project I was involved in Tivoli. And originally it was made with mountains on, because it was a sort of mountain wood ride. But when the main station, central station, came here, the municipality in 1920 asked Tivoli to make a big wall here and cut the towers down, because it was very important that guests to Copenhagen didn't see that there was amusement park as the first thing when they came into the city. Things have changed, of course, so we got the permit to make the towers, and this is a scale model of how these 2 towers are sort of the main feature of it. This is the ride that is existing and we should respect on, and here's the town hall on this side. So this is sort of the main feature of the area, and we had to make constructions and so forth up through the old existing coaster, and we used concrete. Themed concrete as granite, and one of the issues here you can see is that we had to incorporate the ride with all these elements here and all the flow around the roller coaster and the mountain. So it was a very tight building site, but this is the biggest of the mountains, and it's inspired, you can see, by Matterhorn and the very sort of classical Toblerone shaped element. We also incorporated a waterfall on this side, so we had a waterfall up through the system, and the ride goes through these tunnels now that are and making new themed experience. This is in the ride, and one of the fun things was that we work with the perception of the mountain. So when you're standing here, you can see that the element is so high, and when you come here, it's a little smaller and a little smaller and a little smaller. The idea that you can make an experience when you look up at it and see recognizable size elements just being smaller and smaller, get the feeling that the mountain is actually higher than it is. So I thought it was a very fine note to finish my involvement in these 14 years in Tivoli-related projects. And one of the things you can say that always is with Tivoli never gets finished. It always has to evolve to new times, to new expectations. So therefore, when you're head of design and development, that's not an eternal position. You have to leave and get some other to get new ideas. So you always have this evolution, not a revolution, but evolution of the garden's design and so forth. So there's been a lot of famous architect, PH with the lamp guy, 3x Nielsen, 3XN, have made the concert hall. Dahlerup, the Danish architect that made the main theater, have made the pantomime theater. So there's a lot of architects throughout the times that have made buildings in Tivoli where they spend a little more playful and so forth in the design. So it's been a privilege to work there.